Don't be raggedy.
Hey.
Don't be raggedy.
Bitch.
Got your holes all in your shirt.
Holes in your shirt.
Yes, right. Yeah, holes all in your shirt.
Hey, holes all in your shirt.
You got your shoes all in the dirt.
Shoes all in the dirt.
Don't be raggedy, bitch.
What's up, everybody? I'm Energy.
I'm Chi.
I'm Rochelle.
And this is Therapy, Not Therapy. A podcast about our thoughts, our dreams,
And everything in between.
Dealing with our feelings and spiritualities.
So come meet us at the table every week where we unpack all of the things. So can we talk about it?
It's the fact that you knew. It was the fact that you knew.
All right.
Yes.
All right. What's up, everybody? This is another episode of Therapy, Not Therapy. Thank you so much for coming back and joining us.
Season 3, episode
Season
2.
3, episode 2. Hopefully you're joining us on YouTube. Hey.
Hey.
If you can see us. That's right, y'all. We are on YouTube. Look for us on YouTube.
Hold on.
Like type in TNT podcast. That's it. We don't have like a handle yet because we need
Courtesy.
more follows.
Courtesy of y'all two. Because the drama that went
Hello.
to make it happen. Y'all did it.
We made it
Listen.
work.
Y'all made it happen. I have
took
to
a lot.
publicly announce that. Because it looked crazy. And I couldn't see because my phone, so all I seen was the audio.
The bubbles, but
But
no.
I was-
no.
The conversation.
I was like, oh, damn, what is...
Hey, you had a raggedy moment. That was raggedy. That was raggedy. But you got through it.
That day was raggedy. My phone was raggedy. But I was just like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And I was like, I made a big deal about this. And here they are. So
But
thank
it
you.
worked out.
Yes.
And we're here. And that's
It
all
looked
it.
cute.
It looks
Cute.
really great. I was
Yes.
excited about it. I'm excited to be back.
Hey.
And we here. And we have
back.
ambiance and lighting and whatnot. And we are not
Yes.
raggedy. However,
We're not raggedy.
this episode is probably going to be about don't be raggedy.
Let's
So,
not be raggedy.
yeah. But okay, officially, we're bringing it in. I am Energy.
I'm Chi.
And I'm Shell.
And this is Therapy, Not Therapy. Thank you so much for joining us once again.
Yes.
It's season 3. This is just where we're at. We're family now. Y'all know
Yeah,
us.
y'all know.
You know, follow us on the socials at TNT Podjax at TNTPodjax. You can email us at TNTPodjax@gmail.com and find us on the YouTubes.
On the YouTube.
Subscribe on the YouTubes.
YouTube.
Watch all the episodes. If you're listening somewhere right now, if you're listening on Spotify, Apple, and you just want to know, well, what the fuck do these hoes look like?
Right.
Go
Please.
YouTube.
Go look.
You can
Because look,
see
you can
us.
hear.
You can see us.
You
It's
can
real
hear the
cute.
beauty. Now you can see it.
You can see it. We promise.
You
It's
can put
real
the voice with
adorable.
the face
It's
together.
cute.
I'm gonna do better with looking into the camera because I didn't have to worry about that before.
Right.
And I be real
Right.
in my paper because
And me and Rochelle are voice twins. So y'all can just...
you know what I'm saying.
Oh,
I swear.
y'all
to
can
God,
have the
sometimes
distinction.
if I don't know who's talking, if y'all send me a voice memo together,
No, I've actually did
I
that
gotta
on
do
podcast.
contact clues. I'm like,
I've actually listened and I was like, who's
you
just
didn't.
talking?
Seriously?
You know what's funny?
Who
I
is?
think it's the older we get, like, because we got that bass in our voice. So we
Mhm.
both...
It's in the tenor.
Mm.
It's in-
The only difference is somehow I found pitch and you didn't.
Yeah.
That's okay, but you got
That's okay.
vibes.
I think it's because you sing.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
She can't though. But I can.
I
That's
have-
the difference.
Yeah, you.
I got a tone, but girl, that thing fall off. It gets
okay.
raggedy. The tone
With
gets
practice,
raggedy.
you can hang on to it. We gonna work it out together, girl. We can be
No.
supporting vocals.
No.
No. You sure?
I'm not even gonna lie.
The funny part is, I feel anytime I've
when
ever
you
seen,
know, you know. That's
When
it.
you okay.
anytime
it.
I've ever seen Rochelle get real vocal, I see her start to twitch. I think I've seen you do that once or twice, where when you start to move.
Oh,
Like now you've gotten better, like at
Yes.
public speaking. But there were times where I feel like Rochelle would be like, I'd rather just.
I'd rather just not
Physically
Yes,
do
that's
this.
how
Yes.
dance became so heavy.
She's so
but
good
girl,
at. She's so good now at articulating herself. But there was a time.
No, yeah,
You know, everybody has their way of expression.
yeah.
And
I
we're
mean,
here.
how were you? 5? I discovered her low key first. I was
Mm.
like, you can sing. Read the cassette. Mariah
She
Carey.
did. She was like, "You sound like her. Read
I
these
was really
lyrics."
studied. I
I was like,
Oh, when you I was real mama right there, walking by talking sweet, and I hear her just singing. I'm like,
yeah, she
can
did.
sing.
She did. She was like,
you got a voice.
This is for you.
She's like, really?
yeah, I did, and she made me sit next to the speaker, and we played it at the same
Because I was like,
time.
you sound just. That's what it was. I was like, you sound just like her. And when she started singing and we played, I was like,
She was like, "Ooh, here, read
Sing it,
this.
sing
Try
it."
this. Always be my baby next. One sweet day, let's go." I was like,
You're just like,
You'll always be.
Right.
That's like, look, you sound like her. Really?
That's how, so.
Oh my God, I love it.
Vocal range when you exercise it.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Still can't believe it.
Okay.
We're
We're here. I wrote down some other notes because so is it Pride Month?
June.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
But we are
Because I was like, it
approaching
felt
Halloween.
early, but time is flying, and what is time? What's real? Who knows?
Yes.
Okay. So that's next
Yeah,
month.
I'm not
But
sure.
it is Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month.
Come on.
So I thought it was worth bringing up because our ladies
Yes.
represent. Okay.
Yeah.
Here for that.
We're here.
They don't, I'll say colonized Philippines don't want to claim the PI indigenous traditions of the Philippines, but it's there and it's apparent and it's alive.
Those of us
We're
that have
alive
been
and well.
colonized share that.
Uh-huh.
Those of us that deal with that. Not us over here, but that
Yeah.
happens in
You'd be
the
like,
black and brown
dang.
community as well.
Yeah.
It's like, really? You just gonna accept the whole colonized mentality?
The whole thing?
All of it?
Yeah.
Like, that they still don't like you, right?
Right.
No
Like,
matter
listen,
how nice you are or how light you are, you still
you
not.
you still on the other side. Like,
Right.
there ain't change.
When it push
now.
But
comes-
when they start to recognize it, because I got a couple of friends, when they realize the system that's held against.
Yeah, because the colonization is very
Yeah.
deep, very, very
It's
deep. Yeah.
Yeah.
They don't, especially. So thank you for bringing that up.
Of
Yeah.
course.
Was there a finishing point? I was about to go into a rant. I didn't want to cut you.
No, you're good. The other
Okay.
things that I wrote down, it's Creative Beginnings Month, which I thought was appropriate because,
No.
we're back here
I think I
with
wrote
season
that
3.
too.
And I forgot to mention last week that it's Mental Health Awareness Month, all of May, which obviously therapy, not therapy. So
Yeah.
thank you for being here with
It
us.
would definitely be our birthday month.
Yeah.
It would be our birthday month, right? Our birthday month, because some of the greatest people I want to meet.
You know what I'm saying?
You know what I'm
Some of the best.
Some of the best.
2 of us is right here.
Right here.
They are.
Hello. But yeah, I was going to say, thank you for bringing that up, because I think that is a big thing, especially in tied with mental health, because you don't realize how much, especially when you are a part of the colonized population,
Yes.
how much work you spend or how much time you spend
Yeah.
undoing the colonization.
Yeah.
And it comes down to how you police yourself, how you police your
Yes.
behavior, your looks, everything. And it's like one day you look at yourself, or I know I've done this personally, where I'd be like, I felt like I was doing everything wrong, or like how I approached things were wrong, or this was wrong, that was wrong. Especially like in corporate America, you can't help but feel wrong or something.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Like everything is just too, and I'm like, I remember when I started on my journey of like that process, I realized a lot of things that I thought was wrong was imposed on me in terms of just, what people might call aggressive. It's like, no, I'm just powerful, or I'm passionate about things that I believe in, or, even down to like how I used to talk with this one lady. She was such a dear friend of mine. At work, we would talk about how she would have to reword her emails constantly because she's like, I know they're gonna take it wrong,
Girl.
and they're gonna angry black woman me and pull me in the office again, and just like how much, you know what I'm saying? You unpack or you compartmentalize before you get into in the car. You just like, let me wrap everything up because if anything come
Don't
out,
Hold it together, girl.
yeah. And so I'm glad you said that because it just makes me think of how much that I've ran into personally, and my friends have like dealt with just undoing the things that were considered not just wrong, like in the light of white. And so shout out to PI family, because that's indigenous. We're beautiful, we're strong, we're from the earth, we're resourceful, like there's just a lot of great qualities, and like Filipinos by nature, which I'm so excited. My mom will take me to the Filipino store tomorrow. The bakery, the one over on she's girl, we finna go. And I get to take Aura for the first time. So I'm excited.
So excited.
I just know I'm not gonna be able to.
Yeah, I'm lit for it. But like it's important for her to know like the good parts of herself, because it is a part of her.
Yeah.
So I like that. Oh, sorry, y'all. My mama. Anyway,
Speaking of mom.
spoke her up.
Do we have church announcements, ladies? Do you have anything coming up this week or within the next 7 days that would be applicable before the next episode?
What's going on?
Baby mail. Sorry.
Oh.
No, I don't have any mail. I don't have any.
Picture?
I don't have any announcements. I just got baby.
I wanted to say hi, everyone.
Sorry, y'all. We just got distracted by
Aura.
Aura. Y'all just gonna have to get used to that because
She's the cutest baby in the world.
she's the cutest.
I'll
She's
post
2
some on
months
the
old
story
today.
so you can see.
She's
Okay.
2 months old today.
10 pounds. 10 pounds.
10 pounds. She's beautiful. And yeah, I'm sorry. I have no
Don't be
announcements.
sorry.
I do have things coming, but I'd rather just, well, that's the day. It's fine.
Yeah.
I don't have anything distinctive that I need to bring out.
I'm not quite sure how it's going, but I will say that this week will be my first time actually having a piece performed at La Villa. So that's happening.
Yes.
So ladies, if you guys want to go, okay, I can reserve those seats. All right. But that's happening this either Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. I'm going on Thursday. So I'm actually excited because middle school, the energy is different. Catching them before they go to high school.
Yes.
Like I was already set on DA, but I'm like, they just have a whole different type of energy. It's still
My
like that
best
kid.
memories are middle school. Like middle school is before.
Middle school was still fun.
It was before
Yeah,
real life.
it was before it got dramatic for real.
And even if it was dramatic, like it was like whatever tolerance you had, it was built. I don't know. I know for me, the core values and characteristics was really like it hit so strong.
High school got raggedy.
7th grade was that was my year.
High school got raggedy.
But just this piece, I'm excited because it's like again, art school's not really they're open to hip hop, but it's always used as like a recreational or decompressing thing. So for me to go in and do
She's
house,
giving the baby's house.
I'm giving house.
Okay,
honey.
let's just cut
Okay.
it. Cut it to the chase. She's giving the baby.
If you are alive, that is how it starts. Okay, let me tell you something about house music. Okay,
Yes.
She's getting the
it's
baby.
not just a groove,
I'm like,
and when you feel it,
Yes.
house music.
I'm
That's
excited.
the intro. I'm excited. So that is something that's going on. I don't know
Why
if
you got
it's
these babies out here.
girl because they need to know, get grounded before you get into the next grade, and even from
Yes.
because I mean we talking about arts, we talking about creativity. Like I think for me, just coming in towards the end of the year, like we're gonna get in that when we unpack the bag. But this week, La Villa is happening, and then I'm also
What
doing.
time is it gonna be on Thursday?
I think I want to say 7.
The episode will come out Thursday. So if you hear this and you're interested in being there.
It's also Wednesday and Friday available for you to go see
Right,
if
so-
they're open to it. I'll
so-
post on the story.
Right. So check out our stories. Again,
Yes.
follow us at TNTPODJX. That'll be on our Instagram. So
Yes.
Shell will let you know. So if you want to be a part, if you want to come get this house.
Yes, if you want to see the performance.
I just wanted to put that in there before you went to
Yes.
the next piece. But go ahead.
Yes. Well, I was gonna say the week actually ends with the church ministry performance at your mother's church. So that's what's happening. I know. I'm so excited.
Wait, I'm gonna go.
Okay,
You
well,
can.
well, that we
wait,
gonna go do this. It's on Saturday, but that was also like a pull. Cause y'all love your mom. Your mom was like, "Look, if you don't want to do it," it's like, "No, we want to do it, but we just had to get through these 2 weeks."
Right.
But
It's been so much going on.
it was supposed to be originally for our Mother's Day, but then they changed it to Women's Day because there's some women that are not mothers.
Yes.
And your mom, I love it because she's just like, I would love to see just y'all two minister.
They're
And I was
so
like, I know I'm
excited.
supposed to do it. I was like, I know. Like, there's no such
Can I
thing
just go
of.
so I can cry?
Yes.
You
No,
can-
please.
It's open. I mean,
please,
it's gonna be at
please.
Church of God of Prophecy West Side on Saturday. It's open.
You gotta say that like a game.
Yes,
You gotta
please.
Church of God of Prophecy.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Real quick.
Represent.
You gotta.
How you hold that up? How you?
You know what I'm saying?
How you?
You got a prophecy.
Yeah.
You got real.
But no,
that.
seriously,
Yes.
it's gonna be at Church of God of Prophecy on the west side. Here. If
Yes.
you're in Duval, it's a church. It's open. It's a Women's Day celebration.
Yes.
Shout out to my mommy. She and the church ladies are putting it together. And
awesome.
it's gonna be a thing. So I mean, you're welcome to come. It's a
I
tea
love that.
party. So like, there's gonna be a whole thing, but like, wear a hat. You know,
Oh,
10 a.m.
cute.
If you're interested, we'll let y'all know.
Yes.
But yeah, I'm so excited because
I'm
y'all gonna
excited
dance,
too.
and you can absolutely come.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Like
Everyone
it's
can
it's
come.
open.
I want to see. I'm like,
Yes.
I'm very excited.
I'm excited.
I was at church this past Sunday. I went to church, y'all.
First off, when you said that, I was like, yes, ma'am.
Mother's Day.
Yeah.
We went to church, and so the pastor, he came over and we were talking because he's really cool. He's a really nice guy, and they're looking forward to having y'all. Like, people are excited to see it. So.
I'm just excited. Like I said, we'll get more into the bag, but I'm excited because I just know that there's no such thing as being too busy. Like, I've been sitting here doing things in the community, and that it still hits ministry, but just for the moment to just dance for God.
Yeah.
So you could be, as a dancer, be poured like back in.
Yes.
I'm like, I already know y'all probably gonna see me with like.
No, that's fine. Can I go and get delivered?
Yes, please.
I'm just gonna get delivered.
Y'all gonna see, if y'all see me, my face is gonna be stuck on just open face, mouth, cry, tears. Maybe not. I might be smiling. Who knows? I just know that feeling of
my face gonna hurt.
my face. You gonna see the expression and
emotion.
passion. Yes, because it's nothing. It's nothing.
I'm
like
so
that.
thrilled.
I'm
I've never
excited.
gotten to see you and Shirley dance together.
It's still gonna be like a solo.
okay.
Like she's gonna tell, because we dance differently. But
Yes.
who knows what's gonna happen?
I'm
When
just.
spirits
I
are
feel
somewhere.
like it's gonna be a moment.
I feel it right now.
I'm looking forward to it.
So
Yay.
that's pretty much it. Everything else, like what she was saying, like there's things that's being deposited.
Mhm.
So I'm not
Things
gonna
are in
really talk.
development.
Yes.
TBA.
Yeah.
To be announced.
It's real PTB.
Mm-hmm.
It's real. Da 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 da.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll jump in to tail off of yours because of that event that's happening at Church of God of Prophecy.
Come on.
West Point. I may or may not be spinning at Rain Dog Saturday. But I think
Are you
there's
helping or
also
are you going?
I'm going and / helping because mama. But yeah, so and it's 10 a.m. to noon, and then Rain Dogs is usually noon to 4. So it just depends. It's a real. I might just take the day off because I need it. Because when we talk about the bag, like I've been running hot for like 8 weeks straight.
Yeah.
I was looking at all the week, like I was putting, and we can get into the bags. I was putting all of my recordings whenever I spin anywhere, I record myself because I need to go back and listen. And sometimes if it's clean, I'll release it. Patreon. Find me on Patreon.
Yes.
Patreon. patreon.com/ENERJI.
Get your life.
Just
Get
saying,
your life.
if you want the mixes, they be there.
Yes.
But I'd been running so much and doing stuff every weekend. I have like 9 recordings to listen to, and most of these recordings are 3 hours each. I have like a week's worth of music
And you're just
to
like,
listen to that I just put on my damn iPhone today. So that's how behind and how busy I've been. And so I'm just saying all of that to say, if I do have this Saturday off, I won't be upset. Because your girl is running hot.
I was gonna say because your work week is the weekend.
I'm tired. And this past Sunday, I did not get to rest, and today was ghetto. So
Girl, yeah, Sunday.
today was ghetto. It was ghetto and divine. It was raggedy. It was raggedy. It was
It was-
raggedy for
it
me
was
in the
ghetto and
most
divine.
subtle way. Like I kept trying to do things, and it was like no.
Yeah.
It's to the point where I took a nap. I don't take naps. Y'all know I don't sleep in the middle of the day, and I was just real sleep on the couch. So
We can just go to bed.
Slumber.
But yeah, okay. So do we want to get into the bags? Let's get into what's in y'all bag this week. Somebody. Talk about your bag.
Come on, get into it. Deep.
Well, like I said, I don't know, what's amazing is I've been talking to the ladies about how we were talking about from last week's episode and seeing how things, you kind of just speak in advance and then you witness yourself. And it's pretty cool. It's like you speak into the future kind of thing because you start to see when things take place and you can make a choice, like a sound choice, like do I want to go down this route or do I want to stick to the course?
Right.
And for me, noticing that, knowing that, okay, this week is the week where I have to get this performance together. So even this week, I'm like, I feel like my bag is preparational. And really majority of that is like choreography. So like teacher bag, like whipping the real quick, putting them into shape because there's a couple of fine tunings I need to do. Because on Friday, shout out to the Villa students because when I tell you I went in and just put the shit on them and they just took it. And I was like, look,
you were talking about that though. You were like, I'm coming in.
I'm coming in just to get it because COVID, like we missed a whole, like I missed 2 days. I've already went on Wednesday, but Fridays I was like, yo, let me get that extra Friday. So to miss 1 week, it was like, I need to double back. So now I got tomorrow and Wednesday.
The crazy thing is that that's like COVID happened, but you still gotta figure it out.
I still gotta figure it out.
Like, okay, you missed a week, okay.
Yeah.
Boom.
Like they're not gonna, like not saying they're not gonna care,
But no,
it's
but
like,
it's just, okay, resume, schedule.
and
you're
having
like,
to make do and make work. So it's like,
Get
what we're gonna
back on
do?
it.
How am I gonna get back on track? Because at the end of the
That
day,
is
I'm not gonna have
facts.
the
That's
performance fall short.
That's what I was thinking about when we were talking about this particular episode or like the subject of this episode, because and it made me think about the conversation we had. So me and Rachel had a conversation a few days ago about how different like productivity could look.
Yeah.
And we were saying like in the season like all of our productivities look very different. Like our like we were saying,
what's required.
Yeah,
to be
hers is like
productive.
very physical, like out in the field. Yours is very behind looking at a screen, like a lot of. And mine is just baby, but like a lot of both, a mixture of both. Yeah, it's a lot of So we were talking about like how crazy how productivity could look different in different you know people's lives, and for my life it's been crazy because I've been manifesting like crazy because I got a new vehicle. So this time last week I ain't had no car, and now I got one. So BB.
Okay.
And then I got a new phone, which is not really a big deal, but it's a part of the newness.
It's part of the raggediness. It
It's
was a
part-
result
it
of
was
the
a
raggedy.
Oh, girl.
All of the things actually.
Girl.
And then I started school, which is really great.
That I'm so excited and inspired because I'm like, I've been sitting here bullshitting on this degree for how many years, and you just hopped onto the online shit. I'm like, you know what?
That's some real Gemini shit.
But
you
that's
just wake up and be like, you know what? I'm going to school today.
Yep.
That's it.
And we figured it out, and it took me
right now.
It was one day we had, and I wasn't in the chat. I remember I was telling you, I was like, that's why I wasn't in the chat, because I was on the phone from like 9 to 12 getting it set up because I had made it up my mind. That's what I want to do. Hashtag Black Girls in Tech, because I'm gonna be working in IT, but in the health field, which is like basically helping hospitals like digitize their shit and get it together and troubleshooting those, because what they're trying to do, which is really cool, which really got me, was the digitization of records and things like that. There's a lot of people out there that are misdiagnosed, or their records are outdated, or sometimes they get the information too late. They don't have one of these. So what it does, it helps like
streamline that process.
Yeah, so that people can get what they need sooner and shit. And I was like, that sounds lit. I really wanted to go to school for IT, but when I saw that, I was like, well, you can't go wrong with the healthcare too, because girl, that's money.
You're always gonna have work.
It's money, and it's something IT, you can do that from the house. And I got kids, so you know. So I woke up one day. I'm going to school, work out. So I was today, boom, and I was on the phone with the lady from like 9 to 12, whole time, phone on mute, picking up the baby, feeding her, putting her down, putting a nap, changing her. Got my laptop on the changing table, got the baby on mute. She crying as poop. She peed on me, everything, all while getting myself enrolled. And I was like, if this ain't the most
I'm so proud of you though,
shit.
and isn't it amazing? Because there was something that you said, just talking about motherhood, you know, last week. And you were talking about, you know, if you're nervous or if you're scared, you'll figure it out. And just watching you figure it out, it's giving me more confidence, because
yes.
Y'all already know my tea, but it is, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, the shit can really happen because you just have to figure it out. Like, what are you gonna do? Stop living? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? You gotta keep you going. You gotta keep this baby alive. You gotta keep doing the things, and you figure it out. And I know it's not easy. I know it's not. But you're doing it. Yeah. And it's possible. And it's like, and I mean, obviously it's possible. Every single one of our mothers and parents did it.
That's the wild shit.
One way or another.
Yeah. That's the wild shit, is that I'm like, oh, it's possible, right? Like, you know, because you be like, yeah, and then you be like, you look over and this little person looking at you, you like, oh shit, it's possible, okay, right? And then, but then you be like, okay, if they could do it, I could do it. You know, you like, I'm like, okay, my mama. You start going to like, okay, my mama. Yeah. Okay, and you start kind of referencing back. So my bag has been a lot of that. It's been very resourceful. It's been like, okay, Raquel, what can we do to make this part of your life work? Because this part, even though it's not my whole life, because, you know, I'm at the same time finishing up an album with Love Culture and then getting back to my own stuff. It's like so many moving pieces in my life, right? On top of becoming a new mother and adjusting to that. But that part is for Aura. Like, I'm like, no matter what happens, I need to make sure she's taken care of. If one day I'm like, fuck this music shit, I hate it, I want to go to work. Like, you know what I'm saying? I got to be able to do that for her and make sure she good. You know what I'm saying? That she got a mom that can fully sustain her, like, without a doubt. So when I really had to sit down and put that in perspective and understand, like, all of our decisions have like weight, you know what I'm saying, and how we move intentionally have weight. So
our decisions and our indecisions.
And our indecisions. Ooh, girl,
that's a good because one. You when you said that just now, though, Shell, because I'm thinking like, you and I are not in a position yet where we have that catalyst. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of times life will throw you something as tangible as a baby or as subtle as a situation that forces you into having to make a decision one way or another. And you were talking about bullshitting for school. It's like, I believe everything happens in divine time. You're not bullshitting. You're doing a whole bunch of other stuff. But you in your mind, you're like, okay, I've been sitting on this. But you also haven't found or come to the place yet where that motivation pushes you to make that decision. It might be the example in your sister, or it might not, but you'll make the decision when the time is right for you. You know what I'm saying? And I believe that of you because you are not a time wasting person. It's not like, okay, I'm not going to school, but I'm sitting around fucking around, I'm not doing nothing, I'm just chilling and hanging out with my girl all day. Like, you're legit building an empire,
right?
I mean, that's all you're doing.
Casually.
Just casually building up. And I'm dead ass when I say that because the things that you're doing in the community, the things that you're doing with dance, the ways that you're breaking down barriers in a lot of white spaces in this fucking city.
Yeah. That takes work.
I'm just, it takes work too.
And
so
you don't need education.
I just want you to keep that in perspective because there's a time and place for everything. And education, while wonderful, okay, because I got the over $100,000 worth of debt to prove it. I wouldn't change it for the world, but it can get you to certain doors. It can certainly get you through certain doors. It can open certain doors. It can create certain doors, but it's not the only way. And a lot of the work that you do when you're not doing that helps you do that too. You know what I'm saying? Because you're going back to school now, but that's on the heels of you having done a lot. Of work.
This is like, I feel like it's my first
time. The value
time.
exists in both places. I just want to highlight that because it's easy for us to.
Plus my Virgo was already like,
girl,
she be talking to me.
She be like,
bitch, critical. Why don't we have a PhD? What's
exactly
happening?
What's happening? Better than that.
I'd be like, stop.
We should be on that MFA
We're supposed
status.
to be floating, and you were screaming at me.
But what you're saying is 100% true, and and what I love is and shout out to Winter Project Dance because when I did that community park performance, God really did show me. He was just like, you are MFA status. Like you're performing with someone that's doing
hours.
the thesis right now.
That's something that you were talking about before, the sweat equity, the actual hours of time that you've dedicated to this. They can't give that to you. That can't be taught. Like you have the degree and still have to start at zero. And you know what I'm saying? So all of that will come together in time.
I think it's just, I honestly do believe, I know one thing that I told there is, I was gonna say two really bad examples. I was gonna say like a zit waiting to pop, and then I was gonna say a water waiting to break, and I was like, bitch. But the bursting sensation is what I'm feeling.
That tenseness.
I do feel it. I feel it. There is an urgency.
The birth. You can say birth because that shit was the best.
Well, that's what it feels like.
When it's finally coming, when it's finally, you're finally there.
I know for a fact. Yes, I feel it. It's approaching, and I know that I told myself that I want to be in school by the fall. That I'm like, I feel it. So
but let me tell you, like she said, when it's ready, you're gonna wake up and make it happen. Because I can tell, I debated on school.
That's your personality too.
Yeah,
when you put your mind to it, it's like it's done. You might think, you might deliberate, but
I debated for like a year. But with the choice where I was gonna go to school, it was based off of what other people thought I should do.
Right.
And so when I finally made the decision, this is how I knew it was the right one because I was like, I'm going back to school. But when I said it, I was already doing it. It wasn't like, I'm thinking about going back to school.
Right.
What are you thinking? Like kind of like looking for that.
You were just putting it in motion.
Yeah, before you knew it, Rob was like, damn. Because that's how much I was like, I want to do it.
I believe it's happening.
So, yeah.
Because even just off today, certain conversations that you have with people and you know for a fact at one point in time, like, damn, you had no conversation with a person. Yeah. I think right now, I honestly do believe that before I go back to school, there is some like removal of like fear-based things that kept me like able to move. I was talking about that earlier with Amari. And it was, and a shout out to Amari Monster because she's fierce. Look her up. If you don't know, her and her sister dance with Beyonce and Janet Jackson. Okay.
They're sickening.
And Usher. Amari did Usher.
She got Joy is Savage Fenty. Hello, model. Yeah. Okay. But
wonderful,
it was
beautiful ladies though.
We were having a moment in talking about how trauma and how it can stop you from exercising your passion.
Oh yeah.
And mine was about running. and hers was about cooking, and we had a similar like where niggas would be like, because of the hurt of the relationship, it would stop you from doing what you used to love.
Yo.
So like we were having that type of conversation, and for me, like if you think about it, Raquel, remember I was running back in the day, and that was during the time I was going to school, and I was running trying to like really complete it. However, that's the last time I really went to school, and that was the last time I ran because of a particular relationship. So to me, I feel like there is a full circle that's happening, and for a conversation like that to come around, so
and I mean this taps into the emotional decisions too. It's like, do we want to jump in?
Yo,
do you want to do?
Go ahead. Let me say this real fast.
Let this out your bag.
Yeah, because what you said really tapped, because so a part of the reason why I did want to work in this field was because I knew it was gonna make me ball. Because I want, and that was another reason why I was like, I want to change my tax bracket. Like I want to, I'm trying to be wealthy. Okay, I want my baby to want for nothing. I want to be able to. So I really, you know what I'm saying? I'm trying to ball. But a part of the reason why I want to ball is because when I first started doing music, I was doing everything. Like I was filming everything, I recorded everything, I did everything myself. And you remember, and I just did it 24/7. Like that was just
like
what
you
I
surrounded and immerse yourself in music.
Like, and I really did. I edited my videos. You can go, y'all can, if y'all want to do this, y'all can look up my old name on YouTube, and there's like documentaries that I made of myself.
She was really doing it though.
Like I would take my camera everywhere. I was so like, I just used to love to create like visuals. Visuals my favorite thing, but music, everything. Like I just was encompassed in it. And then like the more people saw it, or more people had somebody had something to say about it, like the more I got insecure. Like, and you know, it's just like people had shit to say about it, but I realize now it's just because they couldn't do what I was doing. And so a part of the reason why I wanted to get into this field, I was like, because one day I had a really good idea that I wanted to do, and I was like, I could really just fucking do this myself. But I don't have the equipment, and I'm so aggravated because I'm like, I could just really do this. I don't know why for a long time I felt like I had to rely on somebody else. Not because I wanted to, but it's that whole element, especially in hip hop. Nick, I'm telling you, when you come up as an artist, they always tell you need a team. You gotta have a team. And mind you, while it's exhausting to do everything by yourself, like for me, I'm a natural sponge, and I think Geminis, we never stop wanting to learn. We're always picking at and poking at shit and taking shit apart and breaking shit just to put it back together. And so there are new things that I want to do with my career that I am not equipped to do, but I want to so bad. So I'm like, I want to be able to afford this shit, because I don't want to answer to niggas when I want to make things now. And for some reason I realized, like, damn, like I really did let that stop me. Like I put down the camera. I stopped investing into myself in terms of like recording and other elements of my career that I was starting to do. Once I felt like, I just was focused on doing it the other ways other people do. When I could just did it myself. So I say that to say, I feel that because for some reason I allowed the same thing. And it's like, no,
it's like
no more of that. No more of that.
It's the how. You don't even realize it until like, again, from 2014-15 to where we're at 2021, we're now having this conversation. And you can see how long, you know, for me, and ironically, this person has been popping up in my dreams. I was like, okay, there needs to be some, I need to write some stuff down, burn a paper or something, because you are popping up. And I was like, why is it popping up? And I feel like, especially in dealing with my hips and stuff, and then going into running and how would I run differently this time? It's like, okay, clearly you
come back to it with a different place. Let's get into it.
And the hips, for those of you that don't know, the hips are the seat of your emotions. So all the shit that you don't let go of, all the stuff that you haven't processed, all the things that you're not even aware that you're hanging on to,
in your hips.
It can get into your hips. So if you feel that tightness, you feel that pride.
Ooh.
My right knee, okay.
And you know that's your masculine side.
Received, okay.
All right, y'all. We're gonna take a quick commercial break, and then we're gonna get into it. Ready for the conversation?
Yeah, we ready.
Listen to these messages. Listen, I'm just checking. You know, it's like, you know what? Don't get out of control, Pride. Just hold it together. We're good. We're good right now. Let's stay that way. Let's do that. You know what? And you know what? Let me say one more thing. You talking about running, you talking about pride, and you told me that with the knees, because I was out there and I started running, y'all. I was using Nike app. I was feeling it. I was like, okay, I can do this. You know what I'm saying? And it's just, I got so excited because there was a point in my life where I was much more physical than I am right now. I realized that, number one, I'm not in as bad a shape as I thought I was. However,
You have a right to feel how you feel.
Yeah. However, I'm not in the shape that I was in.
Yeah.
And my ass was trying to run like I was over here.
Girl, touching the green, girl.
Because I got out there. You know what I'm saying? Cause who?
This
and I was like,
over
I had a week and I was like, I can do this. I'm feeling good. And then told myself, what did I tell you? I was trying to run a full 5K.
Listen.
Fuck myself up. I haven't run since.
You did it. You really you got on a bike.
I did too much.
You put yourself on a bike.
Listen,
because passive. Listen, we're gonna take care of it because my knees started getting fucked, my ankles, all my roots, all that shit was just because I was trying to do too much.
So I put
because I was trying to push myself.
Underneath, don't be raggedy. Situations leads to positions.
You know what I'm saying?
So just saying, like,
okay, let's do it. Let's wrap it up.
We're gonna cut
we
it.
Ready.
In.
We ready now.
We ready. We'll be right back, y'all.
Go ice your knees.
Go.
Hi, I'm here reporting from one of the vaccine locations, and we're asking people today why they decided to get vaccinated. Ma'am, why are you getting the vaccine?
I'm getting the vaccine so that I can travel and be safe.
The COVID vaccine is a safe and proven way to get our lives back to normal. This is why the Florida Division of Emergency Management partnered with local community leaders to create Vax904.com. Visit Vax904.com or call 357-0892 to get more information.
And we are back.
We back.
Rochelle, we're back.
Okay.
We got snacks.
I finished my snacks. But now that we have a visual, people can kind of understand what's happening.
You can, all that ambient noise, you understand. It's snacks.
Right.
It's just chocolate
because
covered
snacks.
Pretzels and peanuts. Sorry.
Yeah. We had already started the conversation.
Yeah, we started rolling into it. We're talking about emotional decisions today and just how different situations can come up and how you respond to them. We've talked about emotional intelligence before. That kind of touches into that, but just digging down and getting deeper into, what really is happening when we're aware of the fact that we have to make a decision and making the choice to either go with the emotional response or not, and why, and what that looks like, and how processing helps, and self-awareness. Is that accurate?
Yes. Okay. Because that choice of emotional response is, it takes some time. Because there are plenty of, I've had moments where I've been like, wow, okay, we stepped too far, too fast. How do we get here? Because I pressed the button without even taking a second to
think.
Yeah, but after practicing that, and like I said, we touched on that on the emotional intelligence part, which is really cool because I realized after that conversation how much I've been practicing not doing that.
Yeah.
And even when you do, remember we were talking about that earlier, taking a step back and saying, okay, let's sort this out.
Exactly.
Instead of just being like, okay, well, I already emotionally responded, so I can't go back now. When you can, you totally can.
You can, and probably should. I was sharing a story with the ladies before we started recording about a conversation that I got into with my husband. And, without getting into too much detail, we found ourselves at a place where it was almost like we were going to start arguing with one another or being upset with one another, and it didn't have to go in that direction. The details are not important, but what matters is when, and I can only speak for myself, but in feeling the emotions rising up, and they rose up quickly because it was a situation where I was immediately triggered by something outside of us.
Yeah.
And we were both witnessing this thing that was triggering me and not well, no, I'm not going to say it wasn't triggering him. It was triggering him in a different way.
Yeah,
and,
I was going to say, they were directly triggering y'all.
Triggering as fuck. Okay, full disclosure, we were watching The Handmaid's Tale, y'all. So if you're watching it, you get it.
Yeah.
And so we were both being triggered. We both had different responses. And because of those triggers and those responses, we got to a point where we were butting heads. And I was sharing with the ladies earlier too, something that I've been working on. I know I've talked about it here on the show before, and I've mentioned it before, is communication through conflict or communication and challenge. It is a very difficult thing for me, or it has been. I am actively and consciously doing the work to do better in that instead of shutting down or running away or getting defensive or projecting or, doing all of the toxic behaviors that are the knee-jerk defense rather than what I did in this situation, which as uncomfortable as it was and as frustrating as it was, because it's one thing to be objective and to really zoom out and pull yourself out of a situation.
Right.
It's a whole other thing to do that while you're triggered.
Right.
And to be aware of the fact that you are triggered and doing it while you're still, because the trigger doesn't go away just because you recognize it.
Yeah.
It's just that you know that it's there. And
yes.
so it's like, and now I've got to make an emotional decision.
Yeah.
Because it's like, now what?
Because
You're
now
triggered.
what? It's like,
so...
I'm triggered, you're triggered, we're pissed off, and we not even, this ain't even about us. We're watching a show. It's this white girl problem. That's her life. She ain't even real. Why are we mad?
And somehow we
mad. And we about to be in this whole situation, you know?
Next is Cod on the couch playing the fuck.
Just me on my side, you on your side, just real mad about a hypothetical situation because we're triggered as fuck. Like,
let's do this because that'd be real. It'd be real when it'd be hypothetical. It turned into real.
You know,
when it becomes your problem.
But again, that's when it's important to recognize it, and that's the self work. That's the shadow work, which is aside from that. Because when you realize the triggers, then you can identify them and you can work on them. But still, the point was pulling myself out of the moment in order to put myself back into the moment from an objective standpoint rather than from a triggered place and try to have a conversation and diffuse the situation. Because I'm like, I don't even want to be mad at you. Like, we were just real cute, like, you know, watching the show. And now we mad. Now it's tense. Now I don't want to put my head on your shoulder.
Right.
That'd be the worst. Like, I didn't want to be here.
How did we get?
We were just
kikiing. We were kikiing, having a good time.
You know, laughing at white people's struggles. Like,
especially when you're a nigga like your best friend. You like, stop.
Oh my God.
Quit it.
Oh. I don't want to be mad at you. So anyway, I was just, to your point, I was adding to that because it was a very perfect example of having to make a choice to stay in the trigger, stay with my ego. Because the hardest part about that too is when you're not wrong.
Right.
You know?
Ooh, yep.
Because
that righteousness, that ego righteousness be loud. She be loud. And like, not even loud and wrong. She's be loud and obnoxious.
And Gemini showed up like, bitch, what? We are not incorrect. What are we doing?
Just obnoxious. Like, real obnoxious, you know? Like, not even calling really for it. Not even calling. But you here at 11:30 at night with a fully dressed clipboard info code. So what?
So you brought me here for what?
That was hard. It was hard.
You had to send her away.
I had to send her away because being right wasn't what mattered.
Because it's hard. Because I mean, it does not work for all circumstances.
Right.
Oh, it don't call for that.
Because being right does not fit in all categories. Nope. Because I mean, look at where we stay, United States. I mean, I'm just saying. Mm-hmm. However, it's like when it comes to relations and even family or work, it's just sometimes you just got to do what's best to diffuse and to you may have been right and you may have won the argument, but was it really worth it?
Right.
You know what I mean? So many people actually ended. If I'm not speaking in a place of relating, but it's like, let's just say if there were people that were happily married, but they instantly got divorced off the first conflict because they just want to be right. You know what I mean? Or like in sportsmanships, you know, like sports games, like if you won a game, you know what I mean? Or you lost a game, but you were right.
Right.
But now your team's pissed off because it's like poor sportsmanship.
Right.
You know what I mean?
It's like how, you know, if you gotta tear everybody down, or if you gotta it comes to the point, and I don't mean tear, it doesn't even have to mean like disrespectfully, but it could mean like not hearing out the other person, bulldozing, all of that shit just so you can be right.
Just so you can be
like,
right.
but now this relationship is altered, or now they might feel like they're not going to talk to you no more, like that on that level, which I've experienced in my life. Like, I didn't realize how much my ego was wrapped up in my emotional responses. I didn't put them two and two together. Because, you know, you be like, my emotions are my emotions, right? Especially like with my partner, because he's very reserved. So when he does share, and like, I've realized that there was times where he was trying to tell me something, and because I was so wrapped up in my own emotional response and where I stood in my stance, that I completely missed out on the fact that he was sharing something with me or trying to communicate something with me, and I'm just like hell bent on being right. And it's like, okay, I won, but like,
but what did I win?
Right? Then he's like, I don't want to talk to you about this no more.
Yeah.
And that's the last thing I want. It's like, damn, well, I done fucked up the communication lines because I'm sitting there slamming down the phone. Like, like that's not. So I think it's important that I'm glad that you brought that up about who brought that up? You brought that up about being right. I'm like,
She said
when it
visuals,
yeah, I'm
y'all.
like, who's right?
yes.
Who's right? Okay, I got excited. But yeah, when it comes to when you are right, and you might feel like you're not doing anything wrong when you are standing on the side of truth or whatever, but there's still a responsibility on how you navigate.
How you deliver.
Yeah, how you navigate
How you
your
present.
emotional decisions.
Yeah.
You know, like it's such a. I feel like it's such like a tiny piece, like a tiny cog in the machine, but it means so much. You know, it's like it's such a pivotal place.
Like you can't throw this piece away.
No, because
Me either.
once you lose that piece, or if you try to replace it with another piece, the machine don't act right. You know, it's one of those damn I gotta replace it kind of pieces. Like I gotta send out for it. It's because like it can determine your day. It can determine how, you know, your life goes, how the kind of people you have around or the people you don't have around, your relationships. Our emotional decisions really carry weight.
Yeah.
And it starts with, you know, how we choose to see the day. Or if something goes wrong, something falls apart. Like how do we allow it to, because I'm gonna throw myself out there again. Because I, for some reason, would just get I've worked on not getting so encompassed in my frustration. And I know that's, I don't know, it's like I'm still trying to find the root of that trigger, but it's like when one thing goes wrong and then everything goes wrong, or you kind of, you know, like
it's like that domino effect.
Yeah, a part of me doesn't realize, I'm like, am I causing the domino? Because I
Because
found
you're bringing
myself
the energy from that one situation that went
Yes.
wrong, and you bringing it all.
And
the way
now
over
this,
here,
and
this is
now
wrong.
that.
Yeah.
And now boom, and then it's like before you know it, you're just like, oh, everything just happened, and now it's all and like I've done that to myself where I've just like had a whole thing, and it's like today, which I thought when I told y'all ladies earlier, today was just so wild. Like, I was late. Me and baby was late to our appointment. We had to come back to the doctor's at 9:30. And then, like, I had to be at my mama's because the man was going to measure her door. Well, she not even finna get it, by the way. But it was still, I had to drive to my mama's house. And then I had to drive back to the doctor's, make sure baby was straight. Then I had to do my homework. But I never got to do my homework because my taxes. And then during when I was getting my taxes, the admissions lady was like, yo, you finna get dropped from your classes. And I was like, what the fuck? And it was like left and right. But I was so proud at how, and at the same time, I had to be here to rock with y'all, and I had to get them clamps. And it was like, but what was so cute was like, I was like, okay, I'm gonna handle this. I'm gonna do this, pacifier in her mouth, because she started crying. It's okay, baby, go back to sleep. That's okay. Mommy, the bottles are over there. Like, I found my brain just like, okay, no, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that. Okay, let's figure this out first. Let's take a step back. I was gonna take a break from these taxes. I still got a few days. I can file an extension because ain't nobody got time. Okay, but
I need to do that.
I was so proud because today I feel like there would have been a time where I would have just been so overwhelmed, and I would have called Rob and just griped about it and been like, oh my God.
And it's like, even as much as you having a moment to break down and cry about it, it's like, how can I put this? Because you're still
like win.
Yeah, like you're still entitled to, if you're overwhelmed, you're overwhelmed. However,
say it.
There's a lot of times where we already just immediately get overwhelmed with our emotions that we start. It's like you just drown in the water. You're like, I can't see anything, but then you realize, oh, I can stand up in the pool.
Right, it's not
You know
even
what I
that
mean?
deep.
It's
I just fell on my knee. I can stand up.
I really
real,
can stand up.
It just
and
got
my thigh,
real
mid
loose.
thigh.
Yeah.
Mid thigh. Let me calm down, mid thigh. But yeah, like so, mid thigh. Okay, just
Can I tell y'all a story? Just
Yes.
to the water, because this is like a literal thing that happened. So when we went to Jamaica for the honeymoon, we're there and we're climbing Dunn's River Falls. I was crawling, but there's this waterfall in Jamaica that is very popular. You can climb it. It's like the way that it's just naturally situated, but it's a challenge. Okay, but this is my second time doing it. I did it first as a kid. This time I made it all the way to the top, so I was like, yes. But they have like these pools where you can sit and you can like lounge. They have like little waterfalls that are happening. So they have this little natural water slide, right? PSA, I can't swim.
Ooh.
At all.
Oh, girl,
so
where is this
and
going?
I don't know. I have trauma with water. It's a whole situation. Either way, I found myself being brave and sassy. And
yeah,
I was like,
honeymoon bad bitch. Let's go.
Because I knew, I was like, this isn't even that deep. It's not that bad. I can do this.
You prep and you still.
But then they slung me down, and then the water overwhelmed me, and then I immediately went to panic, and I started drowning in like 2 feet of water. And it's on video. It's on our honeymoon DVD that we have not watched yet, and I'm there just drowning, just. It's just, and everybody's just like, just stand up, G. Girl, just stand up. And I'm real. And
your honeymoon. The honeymoon bad bitch.
Well, you just, okay, you're supposed to be cute right now.
Honeymoon bad.
You're supposed to be cute. I mean, real, but this is your moment being
Honeymoon
cute.
bad
you know what I'm
bitch.
saying? But I was overwhelmed. I let it. And even in my mind, I was like, I know that I can do this.
Stand up, bitch.
All I gotta do is stand up. But I let it overwhelm, and I let all of the logic go out the window, and here I am drowning
In 2 feet of water.
in 2 feet of
2
water.
feet.
Gee,
Wow.
and you're not even that tall.
And I'm not even
Trying to get this little girl out of the water.
stressed. They had to pull me.
Oh,
And I was still, because there's like when water is, I'm bad with the water, y'all. Like when water is over your face, you still like feel the water. I'm not in the water no more, and I'm still.
Oh my God. It's okay.
I gotta
You
watch
probably
that
had to
DVD.
commit to.
I
You had to
said,
just get
You'll
off.
never see it. I swear to God, you never go. That shit is
I
not
wanna-
gonna see it.
I just want to see that part. I just want to see that part.
You probably need to see it so you can release.
Right, then you can release.
I gotta process.
We won't say nothing. It'll go because I just
We
want
can have a moment
I just want
together.
to know if it's as how you described
I
it.
promise you.
Yes.
It is. No,
Don't you just want to see?
But
if
dramatic
it's-
from the other side. Like it's as ridiculous as it is very true. Was I actually gonna die? No. Me?
But you felt it.
But in my mind,
Dying.
But that's
Over.
that's a
I'm
good
dying to
physical
Jamaica.
description. That visual is
it's
exactly
perfect.
how
It's actually perfect.
when we're trying to tackle real life things,
Yeah.
regular obligations, new projects, things that just whether you set it up or they're new to schedule, that's exactly how our emotions could throw us off.
Yep.
Or trauma or anything that could be a
That part.
distraction.
That part.
the trauma girl.
The trauma.
Yeah.
Like
And
fear.
a lot of our emotional triggers are
Yes.
rooted in trauma.
Yes.
Oh yeah, I love them.
Yes.
Girl, they rooted in that same little
Girl.
funky tree.
They all in the pool.
Listen, everybody got that one trauma tree that just be funky as all hell. Just in our forest. Like, damn, this stupid ass tree with the rotted goddamn, and it's not dead. You like, damn.
It's just limp.
Once you thought you cut it off, something grew as a variation of this, and like you've learned to respect it
Because
because you don't want to kill trees. That's not in your. You know what I'm saying? Like I love my forest. I love my trees.
However,
This one tree. And you try to like keep the tree over here, but trees go around it.
Yeah.
So you try to make sure that this tree don't touch the other
Yeah.
trees and that their branches don't intertwine.
Instead of
or their roots don't
realizing that you
intertwine on the
have to
bottom.
tend to that tree a little bit
You
more.
just gotta water it.
You gotta tend to that one. You can't
Listen.
leave it in the darkness of the forest. You gotta go there and you gotta deal with that funky ass, raggedy ass
Trauma
tree.
Because
don't
let you know,
change.
underneath the roots are gonna tangle.
Trauma does not change.
The roots are gonna tangle.
You, however, can change.
Yes.
Trauma does not change. You can change.
You have to.
Like, think about it. Like, the reason why.
Y'all hear that audio?
That's
that
okay.
was
That's
gonna
me.
work.
Look,
That's the
make it
emphasis.
right.
Levels,
Just want y'all to know.
established points.
I just was like rhythms.
Yes, the rhythm comes when the spirit. Listen, direct. Yes, let me know. Listen, because when okay, the reason why you have to recognize these things because I just can't picture myself being 80 years old still dealing with my trauma.
Right.
Like I'm still causing
at
blame
this age, at this age, at this big age, at your big ass,
at your biggest age.
You're
and we
still
witnessed
triggering.
people honestly pass due to the emotional turmoil that comes with
Oh,
that.
You know what I mean?
facts.
Either they pass away, like literally, physically, they were put to rest on earth, or they're gone.
Yeah,
like themselves they're non-existing because they allow the trauma to overconsume and stop them from doing exactly what you are appointed to do. I wanted to point out that it was nothing but God's timing, and I love what y'all were saying before in regards to like school and stuff. But what really hit me was the book of the 4 agreements that you had mentioned, and you had when I tell you I had this book for like probably close to a year. When did you give me this book? She gave me this book.
That's one
G
of
gave
those
me this
books,
book.
though. It's one of those
Yeah,
books.
you gotta
like,
pick it up when your spirit calls it.
You have
Yes.
to pick it up when your spirit calls, and it finds you when you need it. It's not a
Like,
it's not a fiction. It's not a. I mean, it's a story. Yeah. But it's deeper than a story. It's deeper than. You know what I'm saying? They be getting right to your heartstrings. So don't feel away. Take as much time as you need.
I have. You know what I'm saying? Because there's a lot of books I've had. However, I feel like there's some books that you just have, and I think there's some books that you're needing to have. Yes. And I tell you, like this week, from the first episode, because I was like, okay, bitch, you might need some help, and I love it because when I started seeing my mind replay the patterns that I'm used to.
Talk about it.
I was like, I need, literally telling my mind, I was like, I need something to be poured into this. And that's when I picked up the book. And I made it to the first point where it was talking about the first agreement. And first off, the chapter by itself was stating how you are already agreeing to things that you did not agree to.
Yep.
Right. So when I tell you, I was reading this book, and I was like, oh, really? Are you for real? Like, this
is me reading your life.
Like,
Rochelle was a little scalped by the end of that chapter. She was like, excuse me?
My eyebrows was gone. I was like,
that's a look.
No, like, I'm sitting in my bed reading every night while Shirley's like over there. I'm like, read my book. And like, but it was so insightful, but it touched on just mentally how things can like sit here and you realizing that you've been agreeing with the whole lie this whole time, or like the false reality this whole time, and seeing that, and even recognizing where I know where I'm going to, where I'm leading up to. I can see where it's like, okay, this will hinder me. This, like, if I move in this direction, I can go forward. But if I keep going at it this way, I'm gonna make room for every excuse. Like how you were like, girl, just do it. Just do. Like, literally, Nike, just do it. Yeah. Like, it just, sometimes when you're really, I mean, all the time, when you're ready, you'll be ready. Mm-hmm. However, like, you just gotta prepare for the work to do it, because again, people think, we keep reiterating this on Therapy Not Therapy because it's like, we don't take this lightly. We're not just three women that's just like, okay, let's be cute and throw on. You know, we've done the work, or we're
doing the work. I was gonna say, because there's so many traumatized people out here that don't realize that they're moving in trauma. Yes. And like, I mean, because I've seen, like, for instance, people ask all the time, like, how love culture is still managed to be together. Like, groups don't last, right? Mm-hmm. And it's true. I mean, all things, all great bands, some of them eventually, whatever. Mm-hmm. People grow apart, relationship, whatever, right? We're here enjoying it while it's here. But I was like, a really great deal as to why we are able to work so well together, because it has to do with the emotional decisions we choose to make. Yes. And you see that all the time. People that, and we experience it all the time when people, would rather blame things instead of taking accountability for their own decision, how they choose to stand. Because, like, for instance,
or even just acknowledging how someone else might be feeling, even if like, I understand what's going on over here, but I acknowledge that you feel the way that you're feeling. I
accountability
acknowledge the response.
The key word. It's always the key, no matter what we talk about.
Always the fucking key.
I feel like that's what COVID kind of does. Like, COVID has placed people. You can see where people could easily be selfless and be very considering of the other people, versus like, oh, I don't care. Like, whatever. You feel how you feel, but I don't care. Like, wearing a mask and stuff, like,
it's a selfless
that shit sucks, but listen, I be down.
It's also a decision.
Be out here
that you can
wilding.
Make. A selfless decision you can make. You can choose to make, not because you're thinking about you. Because if you're fine, you feel like you're fine, you're fine. I mean, I've seen this a whole bunch of people online talking about, like, I'm fully vaccinated, I still wear a mask.
Yes.
Just off the strength.
Because you don't know how the other person may feel. You don't know. Like you said, everything lands on everybody differently. You cannot depict nor like criticize nor narrate how life is going to work for someone else.
Right.
You can't do that.
Yeah. I think that's also what makes it interesting. I forgot I was talking to somebody about it, but I was like, this is why the self-help industry, or like the whole self-love, like the whole, self-development industry is very there's a very introspective, like a real introspective and deep side that I really enjoy, and then there's this real shallow end of the pool that's very, to me, just irresponsible.
But it's easy to step into. The shallow end is easy to get.
Because that's where everybody starts.
Everybody can feel like a part, but they stay there. They don't want to go deep.
No.
They don't want to deal with and tread the waters of really processing this shit, because self-help is it goes beyond the shallows. Like you can't stay in the shallows and really get into your shit.
And I feel like
because the shallows is where you face yourself.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are afraid to face others, let alone themselves. Because then it's just the truth. It's just you and the truth. Right. What you gonna do? And then you mad because you look raggedy.
Because even then, when you face yourself, you can always lie to yourself, right? But then when you take that raggediness and that emotional, irresponsibility, or have crass ass, ridiculous ass emotional decisions against other people, and they remember that shit, and they hold you accountable, that's what people be afraid of. They don't want to face it. They don't want to deal with it. They don't want
the mirrors.
No, they don't like the mirrors. And so that's why, like, sometimes I'm like a little neither here nor there when it comes to that part, because people don't talk about the emotional decision. Like, yes, you've been hurt, but also understanding how that has nothing to do with the next person. It has nothing to do with your day-to-day. It has nothing to do with your job. It has nothing to do, you know what I'm saying? And a lot of people use that as their leading foot. And like, I mean, I've seen, like niggas just be like their responses, or their responses are so over here, and you be like, bro, what the fuck? Where are they coming from? And it's because there's something in their brain that's causing them to be triggered, or go back to this place that they haven't processed, and they're choosing that emotional decision, like they go left, and you're just like, whoa, I just asked a work question, or whoa, I just asked if this nigga da 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 da, or I just asked if they, and it just got crazy. That's a surefire sign, like, okay, the emotional decision making there is tainted by trauma.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? If somebody, like, and it's a lot of times with people that are immediately aggressive or defensive, they're making the choice to lead with that emotional, hurt. That hurt, or that, that anger. And when you really unpack your own shit, you kind of realize how many people are doing that.
Yeah.
But it also makes it easier to navigate the people that you don't want to be, you know what I mean? Like, it's easier for you to be like, okay, I see what this is. And for me to not, which is also for agreement, is to not take it personally.
Yeah. And I think that's the part that be missing too. Because even, I mean, for myself, like,
that was tea. That chapter's everything.
Yeah. And I'm excited because I'm just about to get started.
Yeah.
But to not take it personally is like, whatever would you need to speak to make sure that things are clear for you. However the person responds to it has nothing to do with you. You did what you were supposed to do. Right. Like, and it does suck because a lot of times who doesn't want to walk in a way where it makes everyone comfortable, but at the same time, uncomfortability brings growth. Like, you have to, I don't know. I know for me, just recognizing, like, it's interesting because it's when you are honestly wanting to see, like, the how in your movement. And when I tell you, like, it's like, what's so amazing about the season 3 is when we literally, like, I don't know, I have a feeling that Mondays is just gonna be Mondays. Like, it's already been, but like, this Monday was dramatic. Last Monday was dramatic.
Monday was dramatic.
Mondays are hilarious.
And speaking in regards of, like, from last week's topic to this, like, I said it, like, when I was having this discussion with Shirley, like, it was like my trauma was speaking, or my hurt was speaking, or whatever, like, was so old and raggedy was speaking, and like, I was speaking like, this is so stupid, and it was like, and I was like, what? This doesn't make sense. Like, I don't even know where I was like, this is stupid. Why are we having this conversation? I don't even know why. Like, that's why I was like, have you ever had a conversation when you feel stupid?
Like, well, you know, you like, okay, first of all, it's 85 degrees. I got on a fur coat. I'm standing on the couch. What am I doing? Why am I sitting on the couch like this? I ain't got no socks on. Like, I'm
sweating, no deodorant.
I'm hot.
Just
hot.
Just looking raggedy. What am I doing? See, and that's the point of this. This is the point. So when you catch yourself
being raggedy,
and you be like, hold on, wait a minute.
Hold on.
Bitch.
When you're raggedy.
Bring it in.
I'm standing on top of a Corolla. With a fur coat on. I'm sweating.
No shoes on.
My ponytail is this big. I got no shoes on. Is this the hill that I'm willing to die on? Looking like this?
This Nissan?
This Nissan Sentra from 93. This isn't it.
This ain't it.
How did I get here so fast?
How did I get here?
You picked up all that old shit.
Yes. And you just going at it and like, it's... encouraging to recognize where trauma stops and where healing keeps going. Literally, where you stop and God keeps going. Like whatever it is that you know for a fact that just keeps hindering you from doing all the things that you wish, woulda, coulda, shoulda. Yeah. You gotta look at yourself and look at whatever thing, person, place, whatever, and be like, okay. Like, that is, it would be something as simple as you being at a desk and you trying to do an assignment and all of a sudden you gotta post something on Instagram, then you gotta take down this note, then you gotta jot this down. It's like, you know what? Let me just focus on this.
ADD, let's calm down.
Girl, I had told myself, like, if you don't do this, just do this. I don't know. I feel like sometimes, like, trauma just have you very displaced.
Yeah. And there's sometimes that staying busy, you know, is rooted in trauma or like rooted in that, you know, that space of
like if I'm doing something,
needing to feel good enough, to feel validated. But I do want to tap onto this because when we're talking about emotional decisions, there also is a respect factor that comes with respecting another person's emotional decision. Because I think we were thinking about, I think one of y'all said something about how, when you said that not being able to appease everyone, you know, in terms of, but this is the thing. So, like, for instance, the other day, me and Rob had a disagreement. Hey, baby, I love you. But he was right. He was right.
I love the disclaimers.
I said, hey, I love you. I gotta say this because he was right.
Talk about this shit right now.
When you're right, you're right. But you know, and I said it. When you're right, you're right. I ain't gonna say nothing. But we had a disagreement, and I apologized and I was upset. Like, I apologize, goddamn. And he was like,
I swear to God, that's how I felt.
You know? He was like, it's over. I apologize. But he was like, just because you apologize, he was like,
attitude.
But he was like, I'm still mad. He was like, just because you apologize doesn't mean that I gotta get over it. And I was just like,
but that's true.
You know? And I was like, you know?
Because that's a process. It's a timing.
Yeah. And at that moment, he made an emotional decision. Like, okay, I made an emotional decision to apologize and to say, you know what? No, it's fine. I'll get over it. And he said, well, I'm not. Right. I need more time. Period.
And what can you do? What am I do? Fight you?
What am I do? And girl, it shut me up. I went to sleep. I said, okay. Rolled over and went to bed because I mean, what
am I do? But talk you into not being mad so we can get a whole nother argument.
We should ask it.
But I think that's your ego. Sometimes we can bulldoze our emotional decisions onto other people, and even in the guise of grace, even in the guise of I'm sorry, even in the disguise of like trying to make it better. Yeah. Like you're still trying to impose. Yeah. Yes. And that is annoying. Yes. And I have my share. But when he said that to me, and it was so just in that low voice, that low nighttime evening voice, I was like,
child, that Aries.
I'm going to bed. Right, I'm going to bed.
I remember Shirley did that. She was like,
you realized it.
Because I remember just sitting there looking at her computer desk, and like she was like, what was it? It was basically I was like, okay, that's it. So then she was like, fine then. She got quiet. I was like, so that's it, you're not gonna talk? It's just like, you just ended the conversation. Like, what more can I say? I was like,
I want you to fight with me.
But that's what, listen, that's what,
fight with me.
Emotional.
We need to have a whole episode on that alone. Because let me tell you something. Fight with me. I want you to fight. I want the banter. And they be like, bitch, get off of the car.
Emotional trauma and habits. When you are talking, I cannot tell you how many fingers I can count in regards of dealing with somebody, whether it's a relationship or friendship, and I will be like, okay, because you apologize. Okay. Right. Not even registering like I had
the emotional damage
to make a choice to say no.
Yeah. The residual shit that comes after. Just because you say you sorry, it don't change anything. Girl. Like, of course it'll set the tone, like how you said, I'm sorry for feeling, I apologize, boom. But it did not it didn't fix everything.
It didn't fix everything, and I had to sit there and be okay with that in the middle of this non-argument that I didn't want to have. I'm like, nigga, how the fuck did we get here? Because we both triggered as fuck, and now we mad, and now we
both standing on top of
but it was the thing is what I had to realize in that moment was that at least it was important to have had the conversation.
Yes.
Because not having had it would have just left it there, and we would have been not talking and mad for a whole different reason. Right. It could have become something else. It's more important to process it, even if we don't get back to the happy place. You know what I'm saying? By the time we went to bed, we was cuddled back up. you know,
the happy place.
We was sitting on the couch real far apart. But when he went and got his grapes, he was like, "You want some?" And I was like, "You."
Yo, it's the
let me tell you.
Oh, let me tell you,
girl. Go ahead, cause I felt it.
No, I was about to say. Because when he offer you food, you'd be like,
girl, it's like, I know you're not mad no more. You trying to feed
I can't tell you how many.
But I kept saying no because I was still mad. My
ego
was like, I don't want none.
I'll be like, Rob, bring me a whole plate and a drink. And I'll be like,
how dare you?
Supposed to be mad.
You know I'm hungry.
You know I want to eat, like, with you. And, like, but it's the weight of my heart. Like, you just going.
So you just gonna.
But you're right though, like that fear of getting away from the happy place can. Hold on. Can you
wait having a conversation?
But wait, it can cause you to make impulsive emotional decisions.
Yes.
Or irrational emotional decisions.
Irrational.
Shit that don't even make fucking
sense.
Trying
to get back to the happy place.
Rushing to get back to the goddamn happy place.
Just so you could get to the happy place and not be happy.
Right. You ain't even fucking happy because
you're all pouting.
Niggas is suppressed.
We just here holding each other all stiff. Like I'm not even really in
I'm not even happy.
Because we didn't, and I'm at the point where it's like, I gotta get this off my chest. I can't. And I told it, I remember one time me and that argument, and I was like, one thing about it, you'll always know how I fucking feel.
Oh, yes.
Like, I'm gonna tell you, and not for you, it's for me.
And
like,
that's healthy.
Yeah, yes. Like, and I'm like, but I've learned, sometimes, because I wrote that story, I thought what happened the other day. But, but I have learned that to communicate that isn't for him to bend or move to.
Right.
It is for me to communicate.
To express.
For him,
sometimes that's it.
Yes. Yeah. It's like, here, this is how I feel. When you're ready,
Facts.
Like take your time and read it.
Yep.
It's not up to, I can't rush your emotional decision making.
I have to say this.
And then look, and I'm like, I can't think of how many times I realized that I did that in the past where I thought that my sorry was so significant that you supposed to we supposed
just
to be
because it took so much of you to get to that sorry.
Girl,
so
I almost threw this motherfucking I almost flipped this goddamn table. It took me so long to get to this realization.
Because you have to wait.
It's like so the world didn't turn and change and shift the.
Because you just jumped over your own pride,
right?
Because you jump over what it's like.
Start rubbing my knees again.
Yeah. because you made the decision. Just because you made the action.
This little knob right here.
Listen.
It's a knob.
That don't mean that, good for you. That's a pat on the back. God would be like, okay, good for you.
Right.
Yeah.
And then you look at your partner to validate it. And it's like, I can tell you, I was like,
I'm glad, but.
Thank you. And I was but then I was like.
I had that moment too, because when we were having that discussion, there was definitely a moment when we had calmed down, but it was still tense, and I had apologized, and Chris was like, okay, well, I accept that, but he was still mad, and I was just like, so why the fuck we not? That in my mind.
Right.
Period. And that's where the frustration came in,
process.
And that's where the tears came in, and I was like, I gotta go to the bathroom.
Because this part you can't help.
Water.
Girl.
Just be quiet. Silent. Just
pootie tang.
Okay.
Come on.
Drama.
Yes.
Drama. And I had to get it together.
Yes.
Go back outside and finish this raggedy episode that got me fighting with my nigga.
See? Damn. That's so, man. It's so crazy when you think about irrational and impulsive and emotional decisions.
Yeah.
Because you know what? Because it's the reason why niggas be getting killed. It's the reason why domestic situations, women be getting killed by their partners. Yes. It's why, so many, decisions.
Our kids get neglected.
Get neglected. It's it's just the root of so many things that you get, that affect the trajectory of somebody's life. You know what I'm saying? Because you didn't take a step back. And I'm I'm not perfect by any means, but I'm so thankful that I learned about mindfulness so early in my life. Because, I was studying this shit, in my early 20s because I needed stillness. Because stillness allows me to not rush so fast. Because my brain just, I can go, from here to here in, 2 seconds and then back. And I'm like, okay, wait, slow down.
Yeah.
And sometimes I'm the person who drives it, or... If you know what I'm saying, it just depends. But allowing myself to slow down and take a step back has been some of the most saving graces of my life. The time to take a minute and say, okay, hold on. And I think because of Aura and having a daughter, I have to do that a lot more and a lot quicker. You know what I'm saying? To quickly make a sound decision. That not rush, but it's okay. What are we doing in this moment? And I think I was talking about
you know, and it goes to what I was saying last time about when I had time.
You don't have that time to wallow.
Yeah, when I had time to wallow, and I would decide, okay, I'm gonna be depressed.
Yeah, I'm gonna
for
stay
a
for a
week.
while.
I'm gonna be funky.
I have time.
I got all the time in the world, and I catch myself there, and I see her looking at me, and I'm like, damn, I don't want her to feel like this. So I immediately,
or to pick that up as an example of how to behave in response, because she is watching you.
And I'm like, I don't want her to.
You are literally her blueprint.
Yeah, literally. And I'm like, I don't want her to.
Our little Bobby just looking at you.
Yeah, and it's
like
enough.
She doesn't know.
And it's enough for me.
Don't cry.
That's my heart.
That's Auntie's joy. That is Auntie's joy.
But that's so true. And
it just makes you, if you think about that, and if you don't have children, I want you to look at it like this. If your inner child was looking at you.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? How would, you know what I'm saying? And it's like that blueprint, like you said, that blueprint of how you choose to reflect.
You're right.
And
it doesn't matter how triggered you are. It doesn't matter where that trauma stems from. It's like, and it's not mattering in the way of, okay, we're not going to deal with it.
Right.
It's just, it's not bigger than the situation.
No, because
your
we've
trauma
already
doesn't get to be bigger than this
that's
situation.
the tea, but we've already dealt with the trauma. You get what I'm saying?
Or if you haven't, now is the time to start trying to figure out how to process that, because we cannot afford to respond in the same way all the time. This is not going to serve us anymore.
Yep.
And whether or not you have some little person looking at you, or if you're taking care of your inner child, or if you're considering a partner, or if you're just considering yourself, it's like
it's as pure as that.
You gotta zoom out.
We don't have time.
You gotta step outside.
You gotta step outside.
Because it can't be about this. You can't just let yourself ruminate in that trauma.
And it's and you know what it is? That one part of yourself that doesn't want to be there. Mm-hmm. It's as pure as a newborn. Like energetically.
Yes.
Like I look at her and she has
that's amazing.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and I think about that even with Olivia. Like, you know what I'm saying? We're talking
innocence.
about the innocence of a child that is learning emotional behaviors, what it looks like to how to intake, to receive, to give. You know what I'm saying? And with Aura, she is a clean slate.
Yeah.
And so she's looking to me and looking to her dad and looking at everybody around her and like seeing like, okay, what's the emotional response that's happening?
How do I human?
Yeah, because mind you, the development. So at 2 months, this is when she starts to coo. And you know that. Y'all know she's been cooing earlier than that though. She been ready to coo.
She been trying to talk. She been trying.
Sis been cooing, right? So, but she's at the age where conversation is important. So I'll talk to her and be like, okay, we're gonna do this, and I do that, and we talk. I talk with my baby and sing Backyardigans to her all day. And so
proud of you.
So when we she's at the development though where the coos are her trying to talk back. And so if she's looking around and she's responding to smiles, she responds to laughter, she's responding emotionally, So if you think about that as her taking in and picking up on smiles, picking up on laughs, she's gonna pick up on sorrow, tears,
it's
everything.
Not just the happy stuff.
No, they see everything.
They feel
everything.
Yeah. Everything. Especially at the place where she is in her development, where everything is raw. She's so close to the source. She doesn't have language yet.
Nope.
You know what I'm saying? She doesn't understand where the fuck she is or why she's here, but she can feel all the things.
Yeah.
And she's still got a very strong spiritual connection to you.
Yep. And the moment I'm fussy, she's fussy. It doesn't even matter. Now I can really catch it. Like if I'm frustrated, she's frustrated. And she's just like, I'd be like, okay, take a break. Even like this morning, like when I got to the office late and I was, can I see, well, you can come back at 9:30. I was like, okay, I'll be back at 9:30. And like, this is after driving from St. Augustine and traffic and it being like, and just having the whole day waiting on her to poop. And that's why I was late, because I was waiting on her to poop so I could bring the poop it was a whole thing. And so I was just like, I didn't even get the poop. She hasn't pooped yet. I'm like, and I don't even know if her poop is okay. And I'm like, I need to see the doctor because her poop. And they're like, you have to wait. But I was just like, okay. And so I was like, well, all right. And then I went and I got some breakfast and I was just like, all right. And I went to my mom's house and ironically, And one of the things I was stressed was because my mom wanted me to be there because they're gonna measure her door. She wants a brand new front door, child.
Okay, I'm not
so
mad.
You know,
Mama is gathering.
I love it. I love it.
She's nesting like a motherfucker.
You know,
like,
she's
I'm gonna just redo my whole dwelling.
She said, "I'm here. This is where I'm living my life, and this is where we are." So I was like, "Damn!" I had an appointment at 7, and I was supposed to go to her house and wait for the guy to measure her door, and I'm like, already planning it out of my mind that it's not gonna work. So then they were like, well, you have to come back at 9:30, and I was like, fucking alright, right? So then I go and I'm like, well, that's 2 hours. I can drive. My mom's, she lives in off Timuquan. Okay, cool. You know what I'm saying? It's not far from whatever. So driving, and then I get to mom's house, and then the guy shows up. I was like, oh, and he was like, I'm here to measure the door. I was like, okay. And then I told mom like her appointment. So she's like, are you gonna be there for the guy? Well, I was like, he already here. And she was like, oh, okay. We were like, okay. And it just worked out. And had it gone the other way, it
wouldn't have worked out.
Yeah. And then...
And not only if it wouldn't have worked out, but you would have sent mom on emotional trigger response.
She would have been tripping. So they already did, though. She gave up on the door. Now she's getting toilets. Don't worry about it. It's another stuff.
It's like, what did I miss?
It's a whole thing.
When you don't live with your mom.
Yeah, it's a whole thing. What? I know. I was like, you're doing what?
This is real sister, like sibling, like, girl, this is what happened with your mama daughter talk.
Yeah, like for real. She's on the toilet. She said, fuck the front door. But
I mean, that's great because
yeah, but like because I was like, okay, and then we started over the day. And I think it was better because I don't know if Aura would have had such a good day getting shots that early in the morning.
Right.
She was able to get a nap in. You know what I'm saying? Get a fresh diaper on. You know, we was able to restart. And she was good. She took it, you know. So I think how circumstance and fate and destiny all plays a role. That also plays a role into your emotional decisions. Because I will say this. You know, when people be like, I'm destined for greatness. Or like, I'm meant to be this. That may very well be true, but you can set yourself off of that path because of this shit right here.
Yep.
Because of how you choose those decisions.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, God was like, and destiny had it to where you were supposed to end up there.
Yeah.
But because when you showed up too late, instead of accepting it and just trying again, but you were like, no, fuck this. Bah, da, 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 you know, you missed your opportunity just like that. You know what I'm saying? Like that's how weighted emotional decisions are, and they factor in every day of our lives, especially as creatives, because any day anything could happen.
Yes.
Any day, every day. And when you're, you know, an artist that's putting music or anything out there to be heard, like your life can change.
Yeah.
At any given time.
Yeah.
So a lot of us are already on, and if you're looking forward to that,
you're already like on edge.
On edge.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, allow yourself. And I think as we're coming toward the end, I do want to highlight what are some things that we could do, like that could help with those emotional decisions, like those choices. Like what could help with that? Because I think
take a beat. You know, I think for me, I think just in doing the work, it comes more naturally to pause.
Yeah.
Because you spend a lot of time being mindful, being thoughtful, being aware of self. You know, in the example that I gave y'all about the disagreement that I had with Chris, like, I was telling y'all before we were recording, like, and you know why I was emotional. We were triggered. We were both triggered,
right.
And I had to stop myself and pull myself back. Number one, I made the decision that I didn't want the night to end like this because of this. Mm-hmm. I didn't want that to happen. I also knew that I was triggered, so I understood where I was coming from with the response, and I wanted us both to reach that place of understanding. I couldn't force it on him,
right?
Even though I really, really wanted to.
Right.
Because I could see it. But I was only seeing it from my side.
Right.
You know, but my point is, when you're talking about what you can do, it's like, take a step back. Mm-hmm. You know, especially if you are triggered, especially if you're responding emotionally from a place that feels that knee jerk. It's like something happened, now you're here. It's like it seems like it's like, right, look between.
Yeah.
Take a second step back and see, how did I get from here to here? Mm-hmm. And then approach. Mm-hmm. Don't just pop off because, well, now I feel like this and da 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 da, and it don't matter and fuck these, like
that entitlement, girl.
The entitlement.
And entitlement doesn't even have to be violent. It could just be like,
it could just be real ego.
It makes stupid excuses. Like, I was just telling Shirley that because we were having conversations of like just doing better health wise and exercising better habits, and poor baby, she's experiencing something with her jaw. And I was like, okay, let's look up and research where this could come from. And like majority of it comes from stress. And I know with her job, as much as she's appreciative, she takes on a lot of stress. And as dancers,
it's like, how are you processing that
stress? How are you processing that stress? So another thing that can help.
Are you processing
the stress?
Because a lot of times we just take on stress and it just sits. And then as dancers, we store everything in our body. So to hear something out of like pocket of you're stressing your jawline, like near your ear and your jaw. I was like, the thing I would encourage is to take that emotional need to respond or the lack thereof and put it in productive, like make it into a productive thing for you. If you're a person that's physically able to carry things like, or process things, if that's how you respond to it. Because sometimes like emotional trauma or stress or whatever, or anxiety, whatever feelings, like emotions, it could just, some people like to just, I'm gonna go to sleep. That's it. But your body physically does stuff every single day. We have the ability to work out and to make things move, to sweat it out and stuff. And even going for a walk and like just hearing that and just knowing her everyday routine, I'm like, she actually says she want to do walks. And I'm like, okay, let's bring that back, because sometimes going outside, stepping away from the computer, just doing things like you said, a break can help like with how you would process that. And sometimes it's hard because when you're trying to discover new ways to handle yourself or the thing emotionally, you're still breaking in new barriers for you, because you're picking up from what you grew from home or from your friends or just old things. Like you're like forever chipping at that.
Yes.
So I love what you said about seeing it, because it's either seeing how you got from there to there to here, or stepping out and seeing the overall view to keep you right on track.
Right.
So
I think my biggest thing, because it's been the biggest lesson for me, is remembering the power that you have in your choices. And I say that to say it because sometimes, man, like trauma and bad experiences, negative experiences, history, what people say, like negative things, things that you store in your brain, tend to have a way to really stick and make you just feel absolutely hopeless or helpless. And
or have you repeating the responses that you would have had in those trauma situations that you didn't express or process before.
It seeps in your subconscious. And that sometimes that really does take time. I mean, because I know there's some things, like I just realized, that there are certain things I'm like, why don't you do that again? Like you could have just got this done on your own. And I'm like, you know how to do this. Why don't you just do it? And I'm like, who are you waiting for? You know what I'm saying? But like, I think it's important understanding the power. Like I was telling you earlier, like with Olivia, I tell her that all the time. I'd be like, because I want her to practice like active, like conscious decision making. Because I'll be like, okay, we finna go hang out, finna do this. You get to decide what happens. It's like a choose your own adventure book, I like to say. I'm like,
well, you're teaching her accountability too.
Yeah,
like this is really all up to you. This experience relies completely and solely on how you behave and how you choose to handle this situation.
And I tell her that all the time.
Have a good time, or are we going back home?
Right? Because I'll go home. I go to sleep. And she'll be like, no. I'm like, all right, well then what decision are you going to make? Because if this didn't make you happy, or if this frustrated you, if you didn't get what you wanted in this moment, how are you gonna navigate this? Are you gonna get fussy? Because we can go home. That's your choice. Or do you want to move past it? We continue having a good time. You know what I'm saying? And I remember explaining to her, because she did that at the house. That's why we left. We were getting ready to leave when you called, because she wasn't listening. And I was like, you know what? All right, we going home. And she like got really emotional. She teared up. I'm cleaning the dishes. I'm like, we're going home. That's fine. So at the end of the night, she was like, good night, Jeezy. I love you. And I was like, I love you too. And I said, listen, so the reason why I did this, I said, you know why I do this? And I said, it's because I want you to know that your feelings matter, that your
you have the ability to make or break your day. You know what I'm saying? I was like, it's in your life, it has weight. And I said, I don't ever want you to think that it doesn't. Mm-hmm. I was like, and when we hang out together, I let you drive because it's important. I said, just like Cheesy's feelings are important, Livy's are important. Mm-hmm. And she was like, oh, okay. And it's beautiful because she's starting to understand that. Like, that we have to practice that. Yeah. That was something that we didn't, I know like a lot of from our generation too and beyond, that wasn't a thing.
It's not a thing.
But I'm making
it's
it a point.
It's barely a thing now.
Yeah, I'm making it a point to be fair. Even as an adult, like I said that to her, but that goes for everybody out there too. You have complete control over your day. Like, I'm not even saying lonesome, like, you are God. Because people, now, let me tell you something. Because that's sort of
We're not going into Hotep territory.
You know what I'm saying? Okay. This is where it gets silly. Mm-hmm. Because people often, like the glamour of it. Like, you are God, you have. But, like, down to it. You just have control over your shit.
Yeah. And shit, even if you are okay, but that's a lot of responsibility, don't you think?
Right. You have control over your shit. You know what I'm saying? But I have to say it in layman's terms. Because that sounds like, because sometimes you get wrapped up in the, I'm gonna go. You know? And it cuts out, like, bruh, you have emotional. It cuts out the
onus. It cuts out the work. It cuts out the accountability.
Because you are already God's status. God, goddess. I'm a goddess. I'm gonna do this and that. But you can't even navigate your emotions correctly in a space and not fucking ruin it. Yeah. Like, niggas don't have self-control. Women don't have self-control and the fucking shit up. Girl. But y'all all gods and goddesses, but y'all don't know how to emotionally. You're not responsible. And then shit get raggedy. And they're like, what the fuck? This isn't very godly. What are we doing? Everybody standing on Sentras, arguing with each other in fur coats, barefoot, dragging, ponytails this fucking big. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm trying to say. So at the end of the day, you got everything in your power to handle your shit. Your day goes the way you want it to.
And no one's not an excuse for me.
No, and if you have a funky ass day, it's because you chose it. Because shit gonna happen every day. And I say that
it's not gonna stop. Life is not gonna stop life.
Because listen, I don't have great days all the time.
And it's okay.
Nobody will. However,
it's how you respond to it.
All about the response and all about the emotional decisions you decide to say, like, okay, you know what? Fuck it. It's 8:30 at night. I'm going to start over real quick.
That's fine. Or you know what? It's 8:30 at night. I'm going
to bed. I'm going to bed.
And we just going to start tomorrow.
It could be 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm over it because I've been staying up for what?
Doing too much.
Doing the most because I'm on my expectations.
Yeah.
What I'm thinking supposed to happen.
And they ain't got shit to do with nobody else.
And you sitting there with your damn ego. The ego standing on the bed and it's jumping and you like, I just want to go to sleep.
I just want to go to sleep. Then go to sleep. See, that's and you have the complete power to just go to sleep.
I'm going to go to sleep. And you can keep jumping, but I'm going to go to sleep.
That's it. You can leave her in the car. That's emotional decisions,
I'm just going to pray over us because I feel like every time we hit these Mondays, it definitely speaks on the week that we're gonna have.
Man,
yes, but so, no, I'm saying we prepared, but I'm just like, Lord.
I was gonna say, my Monday was crazy, but my life, that's the thing.
No, it was crazy, but I agree. Like, wow, I'm really.
Yeah, I was gonna say my life been crazy since March 10th, 2021.
I could imagine.
The moment she touched down, there ain't shit stopped yet. You know what I'm saying? Pregnancy was now I'm like, wow. The longest, slowest, like, take it because when it get, I'm like, okay, I get it now. We touched down. But like I said, the beautiful thing is, like you said, I love that I can share that because it is a lot, but it's something that you can figure out. You can attain it. You know what I'm saying? But you gotta, it's like every life lesson you ever had, it's time to apply it. But you don't need a kid to do that. You don't need a child to assume emotional responsibility, emotional decisions. A child only just reiterated that for me.
You can start right now.
You can start right now. Like, holding yourself accountable.
With your own personal set of circumstances.
Right. Yeah. And, and that, however that looks, whether it means getting help or whatever, talking to someone, starting over, starting a new life, however that may be.
Where are the raggedy spots in your life?
Girl.
What do you need to polish up, girl?
What raggedy ass t-shirts and what holy drawers you gotta throw away?
What you hanging on to?
Because listen.
Yeah, and why?
Niggas be holding on to only drawers, and I don't understand.
Girl, you can't fit that no more.
Them trusty, tried and true drawers. You better throw them hoes
What's
away.
so trusty about the hoes?
Throw them away. Because they comfortable.
The bands don't.
Because sometimes it's comfortable. It's more comfortable to be raggedy.
Ooh,
sometimes it's more comfortable to be raggedy than go out and buy new shit and step into it.
Are you comfortable
to invest in a new? It's easier to be raggedy. Hello, somebody. Is my mic on? It is always on.
Can you hear us?
It's more comfortable to just keep that raggedy shit than to invest into some new shit.
I'm just envisioning like a person going to their drawer and like, I want to keep these raggedy drawers. I'm just looking at these fresh packs like with disgust.
Ew.
Like,
my shit has stains. History. Stains of glamour. Like, no, bitch. No. Them hoes is raggedy. No. The elasticity is gone.
None. You ain't got no waistband.
No waistband.
It's gone.
Looking loose and silly. They're supposed to hug your thighs. They looking like loose shorts. Like, well, you don't get the fucking... I mean, boxing briefs. Them was goddamn newsy pants. Go do something.
I'm tired.
It's about time.
It is.
Okay.
It is. All right. We're going to take a break, y'all. We'll be back with the cards.
I got these commercials.
Messages. To the top.
What's the word, everyone? It's Mr. Al Pete. We recently released a new podcast called the MPN Network Podcast. We have a pool of podcast shows on the network, but the company doesn't even have one. So this show will be aboard for news, lifestyle, and other things pertaining to the MPN brand. So you might catch an interview or two, you might catch us on site at an important event, or you might just catch us talking about tacos and tater tots. Regardless, though, make sure you subscribe to the show on our SoundCloud page, as well as on Apple Podcasts and Spotify Podcasts. Build it but become it, y'all. To the top.
All right, everybody. Nope. I'm gonna say it again. That was ugly.
Wait,
that was raggedy.
Wait, I was gonna say, should I wait to record?
Everybody.
Wait a second.
She said it.
I was like,
she's not a 7, actually. Everybody,
hello, welcome back to Tell Me Not Tell Me.
Oh my God, you sound like a little rascal.
My name is No G.
I'm Chi.
I'm Shell. And we real in the sandbox right now.
But this is TNT podcast.
I'm about to do a weeding.
We're about to do a weeding.
We gonna weed on the cards.
We're gonna weed on the cards.
Can you weed? I see pictures.
I can't do it.
Oh no.
No.
Yeah, that made me when I teach Olivia how to read. She be having moments, so she be like,
she just freeze like,
and her lip just start.
It tells on itself.
Then she'll look at me, and I'm like, you gotta figure it out.
You remember how stressful she used to be? Like learning how to tie your shoes.
Girl, she tried to fake that the other day. She knew how to tie it, but she was just trying to rush through it. I'm like, why? It's not that deep. But to her, it was just like, God, stress.
Tie my shoes.
It was funny. It was funny. Yesterday, something happened, and she was like, I figured it out. Just like you tell me all the time, I figured it out. I was like, see, that's what I'm talking about.
You did it.
Figure it out. Because I do tell her all this. Like,
why is it so hard?
Figure it out. Like, this is what I be telling her to do her homework. She'll look at me like, I'm like, figure it out. She was looking so stressed. I'm like, baby, you gotta learn how to. I can't do this before you.
Exactly. Oh, life lessons. I don't know. The childish way. It's my fault.
You said it.
It happened. It was my bad. Everybody. Hello, we back. What's up? All right, okay. For real.
She gonna get stuck.
We gonna get
for
stuck.
real. That could be an outtake. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, we got it. Let's go.
All right. Okay, we're back, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. We're about to get into the card reading.
We are.
Just a PSA, because last Monday was raggedy as fuck. We lost the video from that reading. So don't even worry about it. Don't worry about it. We're just going to start anew. We're going to start fresh going forward today. If you want the reading from last week, listen to the episode. It's in there. You know what I'm saying? You don't got to see it. But this week you can see it, and you can see it on YouTube.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So follow us on the YouTubes. Search for TNT Podcast. We gonna be there, and you can see last week's episode, and you can see the card reading. And then this week, you can see the card reading on YouTube. You can hear it on all the streams, and you can go to Crafty Hoco, Ciara, AFTY.
Oh shit.
HOE.
Oh my god.
CO.
I'm about to send the craft.
Craft hole.
They about to end up at Kraft mac and cheese confused. Like bitch.
I was like,
what Instagram is this?
who is Kraft?
Take a fucking cheese.
I was gonna say the mac and cheese.
This ain't it.
This is the second time G just looked across the table and I'm like, bitch, I'm crafty hoe.
Crafty. CRAFTYHOECO. Instagram.
Just coming back, y'all.
We'll send y'all a link. Just let's
y'all know
go.
which.
I got a baby crafty on my hands.
Let's go.
Okay.
All right, here we go.
So I really like this reading. I just did a 3 from the Medicine Woman and pulled out one of these. I didn't want to get read too hard because I feel like the overall the energy of this episode was very optimistic in the sense of, you know, shit be happening, shit goes wrong, but it's all about how we deal with it. And if you are trying to do the work, the inner work that comes with making better emotional decisions, you know, like what are things to remember? So, and not only that, but the energy that surrounds as to why you want to make better decisions or why you feel like you want to make that significant change, why you notice how raggedy your shit is, and you just like, oh my God, you know, because one day you wake up and you be like, not feeling this no more. This isn't cute. So when we come on this first card, the first thing that comes with this card is about completion. It's about breaking away from the old patterns, the old habits that you may have had carried you your entire life. You know, in this, if you see this on the picture, and in my video you can see, it's like 4 sage bundles.
I love that.
Breaking through some shit.
Yes.
Right? And we're talking about breaking through old habits, old patterns, talking about tearing away. It's talking about seeing things through, really seeing things down to the detail. And this is what makes it interesting about this whole reading, because all of this is filled with detail. So we're talking about completion, being done with something, deciding that this is not what you want to do, you know what I mean, anymore. And when you come over here into these next 2 cards, they're all about trust. It's all about trusting yourself and trusting where you're going. The Son of Earth card is all about grounding and resilience and following through, getting your hands dirty, getting into the soil. You know what I'm saying? Like getting into your harvest and paying attention to that. And then when you go over here to the Mother of Fire, how she's taking whatever that she has and she's bringing it to the light, bringing light into her surroundings, into her art, into her gifts. You know what I'm saying? Both of these are just riddled in trust, the idea of trust and allowing yourself to make the decisions and to release whatever it is that you completed here. So I want to jump in the book so y'all can kind of get insight. I mean, because I can rant, but I do like some of the things they like to say in these books. So specifically for the 4 of Fire, it says that something important is reaching a point of fruition and therefore conclusion, except that everything in life has a beginning, middle, and an end. Welcome the fact that every process, every situation contains its own dissolution. And by consciously going through a certain situation all the way, you become capable of finally letting it go completely.
Process.
As the incense of healing herbs, boom, you know, clears stagnant vibrations in the atmosphere, you too must let yourself become inwardly empty and clear in order to welcome the new. So that's a really big, you know what I'm saying? We're talking about starting fresh and allowing yourself to go through those things. And sometimes that means going through your emotions, you know what I'm saying? Asking yourself, okay, like, why do I trip? What is my tea? Why do I hate when people do this? Why do I hate when she says that? Like, what is it?
Where does that come from?
Yeah, and I think
how did I get from here
to
there? Right here?
And you're like, you know, when you deprive yourself of the opportunity to really have this moment with yourself in terms of going all the way with yourself, tapping into your emotions with yourself, not being afraid to ask yourself those questions. That's what that's about. It's about cleansing, healing, coming to that place of like, okay, you know what? Let me take a step back.
That's what this is about. And then when we come into the Son of Earth card, like I said, this is being considerate of yourself. This is trusting yourself. It's understanding yourself. This is the fruits of your labor. You know what I'm saying? This is where you want to be. It's that internal place of just being able to enjoy what this can do for you. Yes. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times you can't even enjoy the fruits that you have because you haven't done this, and you are blocked and you can't fucking see it because you're too busy moving in that space and being in there. You know what I'm saying? You can't even see the fruit that you got right in front of you, or that you've been harvesting or working toward. There are people that have worked like, you know, over 15, 20 years towards something, and they're so bitter because of what has happened to them or some projection or whatever. And it's like, bruh, how are you not? I mean, we talk about this, like I said, with Justin Bieber, no shade, no tea, but it's like, how is it that, you know, you have all of this? And I know people be like, fame isn't, you know, and I'm like, I get that, but like, blessings come in many different forms. And to reach a pinnacle of success where your blessing is that huge and you have a reach that vast, that big, and you can't manage to see the blessing in it even a little bit. That's, and I'm not saying that Justin Bieber does that, but I'm saying he has struggled publicly, and that's what happens when you're moving in that space. You don't see how vast or big your blessings are. You know what I'm saying? And that goes for any, you know, for us too. Yeah. Sometimes we don't even see how far we've come or how much we've accomplished. And our harvest, because we are still moving in that space. So this is the fruit, you know what I'm saying? And like I said, both of these cards are about trust. You want to be able to trust what it is. Trust yourself. In order to obtain that trust for yourself, you have to see this all the way through. See your flaws or your emotional discord, your emotional responsibilities, those fuck ups, those failures, whatever. See that shit through, so you can get to the point where you see this, where you see the harvest that you're working towards. Because that's the shit that's going to inspire you to keep doing it, keep going. You know what I'm saying?
It speaks to, if I may, because I don't want to butt into the reading, because this is your gift. But absolutely, it speaks to the transformative nature of fire too. Yep. Because it begins and not really ends, but you know, you're in this place where it's very chaotic and transformative and cleansing, and that fire is there and it's present, and you've got to burn it away. Yeah. But then you get to the mother of fire, and it's like, it's being, that same fire is being used to replenish, to enlighten, to bring, you know, rejuvenation to you. It's like you still
it's going, it's moving in that order of starting here and beginning here. And this is like pride. This is your pride. This is maturity. This is coming into yourself. Let me read this. Okay. The inner message for this is, to grow into genuine maturity is a lifelong endeavor. It won't happen overnight. We must pass through many valleys and scale as many peaks. This card tells you to remember your inherent strength as you get ready to take your rightful place in life. This enables you to make decisions from a position of truly compelling authority. So this is about your development. This is your personal development. It's your personal growth. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes that shit doesn't come easy. I mean, she looked tired. You know what I'm saying? She done been through some shit, but she knows what to do. You know what I'm saying? In her state, in her life, she's reached a point of maturity where you are able to accomplish, you know what I'm saying? You're able to see this, and you're able to take in the lessons that come from here. I know I don't drop this book, but basically, this kind of anchors it all together, because when we're thinking about, okay, like what this is, like I said, coming to the face of your emotional decisions, your emotional whatever, you know, good or bad, and why you need to overcome that, so you can see that and who you can become, right? So this is really cool, because the 6th house is routine, and I don't need the book to tell you about this. This is the finite details and things. This is getting in between the lines, in between your lines. This is about what you do on your day-to-day life. This is your daily bread. This is your routine. This is what your habits are. This is what you wake up and choose every single day of your life.
Choose.
Do you fall into the same pattern of shit every time you wake up? Do you wake up into the same mind frame? Do you wake up into the same, every time one thing goes wrong, your whole day is ruined? Do you fall into the same traps of distraction? Do you fall into the same, you know what I'm saying? It's your routine. It's what you're comfortable with or what you're not comfortable with. This is about getting into the details and allowing yourself to make that introspection so that you can make the decisions you need to make and to change. But it also starts, this all starts with introspection and paying attention to yourself. Taking a step back and allowing yourself to be done with what has happened in the past. And the reason why you need to be done with that is because it's blocking you from being able to see the work that you may have already done.
Yes.
Because sometimes that could happen. Remember I was saying earlier when you be like, when I was saying, there's trauma that you've already worked out and you're still stuck. Somehow, some way. It's like, damn, I thought I processed this. What happened? You got to let it go. But sometimes you have to see it all the way through first.
Yeah.
And allowing yourself to grow and to let go so you can see and to mature. And that begins with taking a look at yourself, taking a look at your routine, think about your patterns, what you're repeating. Are you repeating something that your father or mother or sister you're influenced by that you saw when you were a baby that you were picking up and developing from? Or a bad relationship that you were picking up from? Did you pick up a routine or a pattern from somebody in the past that told you weren't good enough, that you couldn't do shit, that you were only good enough for this, and you brought it all up and over here? You brought it all up in this part of your life? Is this what you brought with you? You know what I'm saying? So I encourage everybody that's catching this and that, might be in that space of introspection because, the planets and retrograde is coming soon. I think on your birthday or near it. To understand that you can break out of this. Like you said, there's sometimes the things that we learn, what'd you say, is a lie?
Oh, the things that we agree to are a lie.
Are a lie. That can be the routine that you're stuck in.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And you have the power to change, to be done with that, to be over it. You do. You have all the power in the world to do that. But it takes for you to get in the finite details. Don't run over it. Don't rush past it because you're like, oh no, a long time ago, blah, 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 blah. Like that has nothing to do with it. Time has nothing to do with trauma. Trauma has nothing to do with time. I hate when people say time heals all because it doesn't.
No, it doesn't.
Time don't heal shit. It may make things easier to go back, easier to okay, let me try this again.
It play a role.
However. It helps, but it don't heal.
Yeah.
Time helps, it does not heal. So
I also like to point out that with this one, you're talking about routine, the number 30. And for some reason, I resonate that with age because it's like something about our 20s, not saying that we don't. I mean, we're learning, but we're also growing in the most type of way where it's like, I don't want to say it's easy to be excused, but you're 20. And I think when you hit something about that 30 mark is a different perspective. And I think you honestly can pick up on it. I remember being 30 and I had a mentor she was in her early 40s, but she was telling me some of the life choices and emotional decisions that she made. And she was dealing with some shit, but she was able to travel and everything. And it was such a triumphant story. But I remember telling myself at 30, let me cut some of my shit off so I won't have to go through as much when I get to 40. You know what I mean? So, no tea, no shade, but just hearing that from an older person.
I think that's what also this card is about too.
Yeah.
Is about experiences and sharing them. I think that, it's a part of that too, being able to share those experiences and help those along the way, which is, I feel like we do great work here because we are, you know what I mean? In layman's terms, just talking about that shit. You know what I'm saying? All of us, regardless of who we are, where we came from, are affected by things like this. You know what I'm saying? By routines, bad habits, negative thinking. You know what I'm saying? Conditioning, trauma, colonization, all of that shit. But in that story, if we're and even how victory is portrayed as this whole grandeur thing. There's victory in just knowing that you have a choice. And it's silent. You know what I'm saying? It's very, very quiet. But it's the most life-changing thing you could possibly do for yourself is when you decide to say, you know what? All right, let me get into it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Allow myself to go away for a while. Not be in everybody's face.
Yeah.
Let me go away for a while and get this together.
Or not having to announce. Your choice is literally your choice, and you don't have to
do it for real. Just do it for real.
Don't do it because you want people to like your post or
do it for show.
Yeah, and I know even for me, I've thrown out the decision I think I want to do this, and I'll or talk to my partner and be like, oh, I want to, and I notice that the decisions that mean the most to me are the ones that I just do. That are very what you doing? I'm like, oh, I had started this. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Facts.
And that's how I know I mean it, because I'm not fishing.
Yeah.
I decided, okay, this is it for me. And everybody has the choice, the power to make those same decisions over the trajectory of their life. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying life is going to be perfect.
Nope.
I'm just saying that you don't got to let that shit fuck you up every day.
Yeah.
you can.
Because it's going to try.
It's going to try. But if you got a goal that you're trying to get to, you'll get there way smoother. I'm not gonna say easier, because shit be hitting everybody different. But you'll get there.
It should be raggedy.
Yeah, but you can get there, probably with a little less damage if you take the time to do this. So, yeah.
Agreed. I think that's a great place to end it.
I think
do we have any final thoughts? Ooh, on 11/11. Hello.
A career over. That's it.
Yeah.
Boom. Boom.
Yeah.
P just faded.
Okay. At 11/11.
Faded this moment.
That's it.
Just fade it out. Lord. All right, y'all. Thank you so much for joining us once again for Therapy Not Therapy. We will see y'all next week. Make sure to follow us on the socials once again at TNTPODJAX. You can email us at tntpodjacks@gmail.com. Check us out on YouTube. Please subscribe. Please. We have cuteness and content over there. If you listening to this right now, go look at us on YouTube. Stop the podcast right now.
And go look at
us on YouTube. We are so cute. We got lights and shit, y'all. It's adorable.
Lights and stuff.
So, yeah.
DIY.
Okay. We made it real cute.
Okay, we are crafty hoes.
And once again, visit CRAFTYHOECO on Instagram, Crafty Coco, for the reading.
It's coming up. I swear to God, it's coming up this week. We back.
We got iPhone 12. It's lit. We good. All right, y'all. We'll see you next week.
He'd agree.
Bye. Yeah. Therapy Not Therapy is produced and edited by Mr. Alpete on the MPN network, and the intro music is courtesy of Wes Harris. The song's name is Chamomile, and that's tea.
That was good. That's tea.